I'm here with Henk Viljoen, the Group Head of Internal Communications at Old Mutual. And we're standing in front of, I can't even pronounce the name of the tree, I'm sure you will, but it really pulls everything together in a visual format. What does this all mean, and how important was it to pull everything together in this kind of a format?
Yeah, I think if we think about our colleagues out there, they've all got big jobs they need to focus on, and along come the strategy department, the HR department, the marketing department, and they have all these different frameworks. And one of the best ways we actually remember things are through stories. And so what we've actually used the analogy of a baobab tree, a tree that lives for like sometimes up to 1,500 years. We tend to provide shelter for everything around it, its food, it stays around for generations. And we sort of compared our company to a baobab tree. You know, we're about 170 years old, so not quite 1,500 years. And we sort of spoke about the analogy of actually above the ground, what people see out there is what the external world sees of us. And that's our brand promise, it's our vision, it's the customer experience we are trying to deliver. And because we are a service brand below the ground, we have a very strong culture that actually supports that. And so what we're saying is our brand, our vision is all kind of rooted in our culture. Our culture needs to be very specific. You know, in financial services, there's a whole plethora of grey brands out there which all look the same. And so we have to be really specific, just as we had to be with our brand in terms of what we actually stand for in the eyes of our customers. We also had to explain to our employees what we actually stand for internally, how we work together. So we had the usual kind of corporate values around accountability, respect, all those kind of things, but they're quite bland. So we actually came up with Act Now, which is really a very specific behavioral interpretation of the values that we actually hold dear in the organization. And so we call those the sort of roots of the baobab tree. Around the framework here, we've also put down what we do, which is savings, pensions and investments. Everyone does that. But the difference in terms of how we are different is kind of how we execute on those in terms of our brand values. Above what we do is our customer experience. And all of this is kind of sort of really the kind of true north of our business is set through our vision, which is about becoming our customers' most trusted partner.
So in the center, the why we exist is really about the purpose of the organization. And what's interesting to see here, if you think of the roots, the nutrients are the behaviors. And the culture, I guess the way it's visualized is the collection of those behaviors. Would that be fair to say?
Absolutely, yes. So this is really about our DNA. It's not something which we go out in our marketing campaigns and we say we enable positive futures. It's really kind of a way of being, and our values and our Act Now behaviors is really kind of a sort of a foundation to actually help anchor this essence of what we're about as an organization in the mind of our employees.
Now, some of these are a bit touchy-feeling. And knowing the financial services world pretty well, you've got some pretty hard-nosed financial experts. How do they react to this, and how would you deal with their reactions?
Well, one of the first things we did when we actually sort of launched the brand promise is we decided to actually start right at the top with our leaders. And there's nothing more sort of sobering than to actually get real customer feedback. Okay, we are very good at coming up with lots of financial measures and things like that. You know, we can do net client cash flows, we can do assets under management, you know, till the cows come home. So we actually sort of got these guys in front of customers. Admittedly, the very first time we used actors and we tested some of these things with them. And it was quite an experience for these guys to actually hear what these guys had to say, although they were actors. The second time around, we actually used our own colleagues to actually give them a bit of a flavor for what customers think of us. And the third time we actually used real customers. And it's quite interesting how even hard-nosed financial services people, the moment they're in front of customers, how these home truths come sort of home to them, if you like, you know, where they actually realize the importance of actually having these measures and actually having a very specific brand and a very specific culture to actually support that brand.
Probably both the successes and when you make a positive difference in lives and where you have a room to improve your services.
Correct.
So one of the things we see here is the customer experience. And how does an experience differ from products and services? And does one design an experience?
Well, there's a lot of work. Obviously, Old Mutual is a very big organization, and the different kind of customer kind of experiences that you have out there could be quite different, okay? And they're very defined by the technology that we have, the environments that people find themselves in. We use the kind of whole concept of easy, valued, and peace of mind as a sort of a true north, almost, if you like, to help people sort of go in a direction. So when they are interacting with customers, at least they have some sort of a idea of what it is that we actually have to do. That framework does give people quite a bit of room for interpretation. So it's not something that gets pushed down at them. You know, within customer service teams and customer service groups, within our sales teams, they're actually able to sort of interpret that for them. The framework is flexible enough and it rolls off the tongue quite easily for them to actually make sense of it. So we talk about EVP, which could also stand for Employee Value Proposition, but we actually mean easy, valued, and peace of mind, so people actually remember that. And that's actually gotten quite good traction in the business.
So Henk, after doing all this work, reflecting on it, how has your job changed? How has your role changed? What's your behavioral change as part of this process?
Well, to me, it was really about the customer viewpoint. One might argue that you're not actually customer facing, but actually when you're hearing what customers have to say on things like how they interact with our web, with our internet, how they interact with our call centers, you realize that no matter what your role, that line of sight in terms of how you can help colleagues deliver a better customer experience actually is quite profound.
Henk, looking at the top being what one sees on the outside and your people on the inside, they have to live and breathe the brand and advocate it to the outside world. How does that happen, practically speaking, or how can you make it happen better?
So we're in quite a difficult position. We don't sell sexy iPhones which people can touch and which they can see. You know, we're essentially a service brand. And so the best thing that we could possibly do is to actually turn our own staff into customers so they can experience the benefits of our products, but also experience the service of our products and services. So in many of our different businesses, what the guys have done is they've actually made our products and services available at great rates to our employees, so they can also experience what it's like. Okay. The second thing which we've done is we've actually started to track the extent to which our staff actually recommend our products and services. So think of it as an internal Net Promoter Score. And the good news is that since we've started tracking this, our internal Net Promoter Score has actually gone up. So I think it's a combination of us sort of telling the story to people, what we actually stand for, them actually also experiencing our own products and services that has actually made them stronger advocates of the products and services that we sell.
So the real power of the customer is to bring them inside.
Precisely, yes.
And to basically merge your employee and your customers into one.
There should be no difference in terms of the customer focus, in terms of an external customer and an internal customer. Our employees are customers too. If we don't treat them like customers, how can we expect them to serve our customers and be advocates of our customers and our brand?
Thank you for sharing your story, Henk.
Pleasure.